Welcome to the English with Kirsty podcast from www.englishwithkirsty.com. Here I'll be sharing with you tips, information and other learning resources so that you can improve your business English. Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 113 of the English with Kirsty podcast. So today we're going to talk about something that happens in the UK because it's coming up soon, and it's Bonfire Night, or sometimes it's called Fireworks Night, Guy Fawkes Night, November the 5th. So it goes by all these different names, and basically it's a celebration with a lot of fireworks. But they don't just happen on November the 5th, they happen all the time for a couple of weeks before, and that's kind of a problem if you have a dog who's terrified of them, as some of my friends do. So it's not really regulated, but the idea is that it's celebrated on the 5th of November. So there are organised fireworks displays, and people have little ones in their garden, they buy some fireworks, or you can go to something bigger that is organised locally, and maybe pay some money to get in, but then you don't have to buy the fireworks and you don't have to light them. So there is usually food as well. Sometimes there are fires to go with the fireworks. That's why it's called bonfire. So that's usually like a fire with garden rubbish, branches and things that you want to burn. And sometimes people put food in the fire as well to cook. So they wrap up some potatoes and let them cook while the fire is burning. And then afterwards you've got some nice hot potatoes to eat. And there are all different kinds of fireworks, and yeah, it's just kind of a celebration, but it's not really celebrating. It's come from history, but we're not really celebrating that anymore. It's just become a tradition. Originally, it was actually the law that you had to celebrate this for a couple of hundred years, because basically some people rented a house near the Houses of Parliament, and it was their plan to blow up the Houses of Parliament and all the members of Parliament inside and the King on the day the opening of Parliament. So they wanted to do that, and their plan was discovered because a letter was sent warning someone not to go to the opening of Parliament, and he made that letter public, saying, okay, well, why not? There must be some kind of plot, some kind of conspiracy, because I've been told not to go there. So an anonymous letter. But suspicion was aroused by this point, and then there were investigations to see what might be going on, and someone called Guy Fawkes was found in the cellar with a lot of gunpowder, because his job was to light the fuse and to set off the explosion. So he was arrested, and the other conspirators were either arrested, or I think a couple were killed trying to resist arrest, and then they were all punished and put to death for trying to kill the king. So the celebration was really that this plan didn't happen, that they found the gunpowder and that the Houses of Parliament weren't blown up, and that was what the original celebration was about. And so all the fires and the burning was kind of to celebrate that. And they also made some models of Guy Fawkes and put them on the fire as well, which is something that does still happen, not everywhere, because it's quite grim, really, but it does happen in some places. There are models made of political figures or other unpopular figures, in the same way that Guy Fawkes was unpopular. I'm not a fan of Firework Night, really, because I had quite a bad experience with my dog, who was stuffing around on the ground as retrievers do, and found something that was actually the remains of a firework, and she burnt her face and her mouth and her throat, and we had to go to the vets and get her treated for that. And she was okay in the end. She was quite young, she recovered quickly, but it was an unpleasant experience for all of us. And when so many fireworks go off into the atmosphere, they've got to come back down somewhere, and animals could eat them and get hurt in the same way that my dog did. So I'm not a huge fan of them, to be fair, but I wanted to do this episode to explain what Bonfire Night is, And I've also written a post about it on the blog, so if you want to have a look at that, it's got all the names and a bit more detail about what actually happened. You can go to the show notes page for this episode, which is englishwithkirsty.com/podcast/episode 113, and I'll link through to the blog post on there. So if you want to do that and find out what the 5th of November rhyme is, you can go and find that on the blog post. Also, if you've been to the UK during any of these celebrations, let me know. What did you think about it? And also today I've been writing the newsletter, so if you would like to receive updates from English with Kirsty, it's only once a month. You're not going to be spammed with emails. But if you want to do that, then you'll see information on other parts of the site that isn't just the podcast, because there are other things going on as well. There's the blog, there's special content that's only for newsletter subscribers. So if you're interested in that, then you can sign up on the show notes page. Otherwise, I hope you have a good week and have fun learning English. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the English with Kirsty podcast. If you have any questions or comments, my email address is kirsty@englishwithkirsty.com, or you can go to www.englishwithkirsty.com/podcast, where you'll find information about the individual episodes.